What is up, guys? Me again, and welcome to another Around the World in 80 Days. And here we go, Chapter 13, A Happy Reunion. Luckily that the steamer had only just left port. It was still going at a slow pace. The dress flag was seen at the last minute, and the steamer came to a halt, close to the Tinker. Almost everyone aboard and Tinker cheered when they saw the name on the sign of the steamer. Even Phileas Fogg allowed himself a brief smile. It was the steamer they had expected to see. It was the Carnatic, the very same steamship that they had missed in Hong Kong. She had to stop at Sergei to slither during the storm. That was how the Tinker had caught her up. But as Fogg realized that there was no need to sail in the Tinker and catch the other steamer. The cargo would take them to Yarborough now. They were back on schedule. Mr. Fogg gladly paid Captain Bouncy his bonus in £200, and everyone went on the Carnatic. The only unhappy person was Detective Fix. He was now the first to spot the familiar face standing on the deck. It was the missing traveler. Passport out! He had caught the Carnatic after all. Fix went pale with worry, but he needed have been contacted. Although Passport glared eagerly at him, he wasn't ready to reveal his master what the detective had told him. Instead, there were a joyous reunion between Passport, Phileas Fogg, and Aurora, who kissed the Frenchman on the cheek. Phileas Fogg warmly shook both his hands. He was happy to see his servant again. "My dear," said Mr. Fogg. "My dear man," said Mr. Fogg. "Mr. Fogg, where have you been? We've been looking over before we left. We, of course, missed the cargo, but we hoped that perhaps you have caught it." "I did," so I must be as cats at the stable into it," said Passport out. Looking straight at Fix without mentioning Fix's name, Passport explained how he had found out that the cargo was leaving earlier than expected, and how it was his way of telling him the news when he had displayed by a stranger. "He was invited to a drink. He invited me to a drink," said Passport out. "I had never drunk spirit in my life before, but he somehow managed to persuade me into having 3 whiskeys." Passport told how he eventually fell asleep. "When I woke up, I was near the time for the boat to leave. I just pray that you have found out that the ship was leaving early, so I decided to ask for the ship and made it just in time, as we were not on board." Phileas Fogg was not the first to forgive his manservant. Both he and Aurora were just as pleased to have their friends safely returned to them. Passport caught up with the Fix, and later that evening he didn't waste a moment. "You got me drunk," he roared. "You got me drunk," he roared. "He just to stop me from warning my master that the ship was leaving early." With that, he charged straight at Fix, grabbed him by the collar, and punched him hard, knocking him on deck. When Fix recovered, he stuck coldly at Phileas Fogg and said, "You are finished." "For the time being," replied Passport. "Perhaps you will now believe that my master is perhaps now you'll believe my master is innocent. And traveler, it's an innocent traveler. Far from it, replied Fix. I think he is a resident and a robber. That's why I had to prevent you from telling him that the ship was leaving early. I had to keep him in Hong Kong until the water arrived. Phileas Fogg stared at Passepartout for a moment. Why? Well, you tell Mr. Fogg what really happened now. Why should I? He replied Passepartout, because he have committed an instance. Said Fix. Neither of us will know exactly what the truth is until we get back to England, or Mr. Fogg makes his break for it earlier in Yomaca, or America. So, can we be friends until then, and without revealing anything to him? We cannot be friends, said Passepartout, but I will go along with your plan. Though, if I see the first thing that you are trying to slow him down, so he will lose the bet, I will wring your neck like a chicken. Wring your neck like a chicken. Fair enough, said the detective. I promise, but I will keep my eye on him in case he tries to vanish track. The rest of the journey of the Yomaca went without incident, and they arrived on November 14th. That same evening, the party, including Detective Fix, boarded the General for the journey across the Pacific Ocean into San Francisco. The steamship was by far the most powerful vessel in the Pacific Run. In a few days, they leaving Yomaca, Phileas Fogg noted that his diary that had decided they had passed the halfway stage of their journey. Mr. Fogg had taken more than 50 of the 80 days into it, but that don't worry him. The worst of the journey is over. The second half of the trip might be as long as a mile, but it should be complete in much faster time. It was here that the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Phileas Fogg finally to note something. He was always in the presence of an eccentric, but he, on his way, but on this one occasion, he had forgiven the vessel rule of the negatory. Perhaps Mr. Fogg is paying too much attention to Aurora, and this is why he made a mistake. He was becoming quite enchanted of Aurora, and he spent much time as possible with her. Passepartout was certainly unaware that at the monstrous stage of the journey met, and so they all sailed blissfully on the 11th day later, in December 3rd. The General Grant entered the bay and the Golden Gate of the Residence San Francisco. Give or take a few hours, Phileas Fogg was still insecure. On schedule. That's what I see ya.